Welcome everybody to today's live training. We're going to marry the magical with the practical for more money and more time. I've got some really excited birds in the background, so you can probably hear them as well. And this is going to be hard and fast. We're going to cover a fair bit of ground fairly quickly, but what I really want to get to is I'm going to give you 3 really practical takeaways that you can go away and work on immediately, because I think that, information is great, but I'm all about how do I do it? How do I do it the easy way? How do I do it the most effective, easy way? So that's what we're going to get into. And of course, at the end, I'm going to draw the winner of our share challenge. We had a whopping 217 entries in the share challenge. So thank you all so much for getting on board. And a reminder that you have to be live on the call to win a spot on the share challenge. If you, for some reason, need to leave the call before we finish and you want to still be considered for that, what I need you to do is find a friend in the chat box who will nominate you, because rather than me drawing one of 217 names and then they may not be here live and we'll have to keep drawing names over and over, I will just ask you all to pop your names in the box if you entered the share challenge, and I'll cross-check that your name is on the list. So sorry, Lee, if you didn't enter the share challenge and didn't like that post or share it, then I won't be able to give it to you, but I think it'll be the quicker way to do it. So basically, you're going to have to proxy someone if you have to leave early. So just find a friend in the chat box and say, hey, when Miriam does the share challenge, I got to run, but when she does the share challenge, please pop my name down as well, because that'll be a more efficient way to do it. Okay, so we're talking about marrying the magical with the practical for more money, more time. Now, a few times along the last couple of years, I've surveyed, women in business and asked them what are the 2 key things they would like more of. If they had a magic genie, what would they want more of if it was just 2 things? And more money, more time is the thing that about 70 to 80% of people say. So, these are really valued resources in our lives. And the thing with marrying the magical and the practical is that we actually straddle both of those worlds. We are spiritual beings living a physical experience. And in my book, you've got to become a master at managing both, at understanding both, and really tapping into the power on both sides of that fence, because I think that's our work as human beings here on this earth, is to actually evolve by creating an amazing life here on this planet while tapping into that unseen power. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so let me see if I can get my slides to move, which is always handy. Cool. All right, so just a little bit about me for those of you who don't know me. I help women in business create the life that they've been dreaming of by showing them how to leverage the power of their unconscious mind, and in fact the entire universe, and marry that with everyday practical skills so that they can have more money, more time, and more joy, and do it the easy way. Now, it's been a bit of a journey for me to get to this point, and initially when I first started out of uni, I kind of ticked all the boxes of what you're meant to do in life and thought, okay, if I just do what everybody tells me to do, I'll be happy. And I ended up a petroleum engineer and a corporate analyst. And, there was a lot of pressure. I earned good money, and it was doing it the real, work hard for your money, do the long hours kind of way to be a success in life, I guess. And it didn't really work for me. So fast forward, a few years, I'll fast track the story for you, but fast forward a few years and I had gotten divorced. I hadn't worked in my career for about 8 years. I had a 3 and a 5-year-old, and I actually built a new business on my own as a single mum, which was an award-winning business in the end, and kind of allowed me to get back to having a really beautiful passive 6-figure income and a great lifestyle and financial security. And the way I got there is by understanding and remembering that we do have this unseen power and you can tap into it. And because it was a business in finance and because I was broke when I started, it really made me work on all my practical money skills. I had to learn them for myself, and I had to teach them to my clients and help them create wealth and abundance in their life. So that was a really important piece of the puzzle. And, you know, I achieved a lot through that journey. But, you know, the truth of it is I was still pretty stressed out and working my butt off. So fast forward a few more years, and I decided that I really wanted to start teaching other women how to combine the two and how to really get traction in life by marrying these two aspects of ourselves. And I'd written a book because, you know, it had been a couple more years, and I'd gotten the hang of how to get all the important stuff done and be super efficient and get into a flow where you don't feel like you're flogging yourself to the bone. And so I wrote the book, Today's Woman Life Balance Secrets, which became an international bestseller. Woohoo. So that was really fabulous. And, you know, fast forward from there, and I decided that I really wanted to dive deeper into that magical side, because I started realizing that that is such a core component of all of this. That's really where we have to begin, and we do have to have all the practical skills as well. So that's when I teamed up with Mike Dooley from tap.com. He's the beautiful man who writes the notes from the universe, and he was featured in The Secret back when. And, you know, now I'm lucky enough to get to be part of his team, and I'm off to New Orleans next month to speak at our next Infinite Possibilities Trainer Conference, where we're bringing more trainers on board to take Mike's program out to the world. And it's a really beautiful, simple program that talks about, you know, this magic that's available to all of us. And following that, I decided to dive even deeper and actually become a hypnotherapist and really understand the power of the unconscious mind. And what happened through that is that I realized that the more you tap into that unseen power while having the practical skills to take great care of yourself, your money, and your time, the more the two feed off each other, and the more that you actually then do get that momentum, you get traction, right? And so that's where this concept of effectology came from. It's about marrying our inner world. So I take people through a process of reconnecting to their values, creating a vision, and understanding how to raise their vibration so they can connect to that source energy, to that highest part of ourselves. And at the same time, that's kind of enveloped and encompassed and supported by having the practical skills to keep that connection going in the first place, but also to be able to work through any resistance and to have all the practical skills in place to manage the stuff that we're calling into our lives. You know, we're calling in more of all sorts of things, more money, more clients, more stuff. And there's only 24 hours in the day. So it really is a matter of the inner and the outer supporting and complementing one another. And once you get the hang of that, once you really, really get that, that's when you get real momentum. That's when you get traction. And, you know, now I'm so passionate about sharing that story because I want to save you as much heartache and stress as possible, because the journey I just described to you, that was a almost 10-year journey, and there was a lot of stress and a lot of heartache and a lot of fear and a lot of, oh my God, I'm going to go broke and live on the street along the way, and a lot of, I can't do this another day, I'm burning out, I'm going to lose my mind, and, you know, how can I possibly attract more clients when I can't even handle what I've got on my plate now, and all that stuff. So I want to save as many women as possible all that pain and suffering and show them how actually effortless and easy it can be. Because, you know, you might not believe this right now, depending on what's going on for you, but you can do in 4 days what you've been doing in 5. And in fact, you can do more in 4 days than you've been doing in 5 days a week and make more money. You can do more in less time and make more money, and it's easier when you get the hang of how to connect all these pieces of the puzzle and really have them click into place so that you can get that momentum going. Right, where's my pointer? There it is. Cool. So, you know, I'm not exactly sure why you showed up today, but I'm assuming, you know, we're talking about more money, more time. So obviously that kind of triggered something where you went, yes, please. And, you know, so you might be sick of the hustle, the stress and the worry where there's never enough money and there's not enough time to get it all done. And so you think, well, I'd really like to grow my business and have more come in, but I can't even manage what I've got now, or I can barely manage, or it's wearing me out. So I actually can't see how it's ever possible. And then people say, oh, you know, get a VA to help you. And you might be thinking, that'd be really nice if I, A, could afford one, and B, actually had the time to figure out what I'm going to get them to do and get them organized and train them up. You know, it's just kind of overwhelming and you get all bogged down. So what we're going to talk about today is how when you know, and that's what it's like when you're not marrying the two together, and when you haven't got the hang of how to get this momentum, it just all feels too much and you can't possibly see how you can grow to the next level. And it's very, you know, the word overwhelm is kind of really rife. We have an overwhelm epidemic in our society, and that's what life is like when you don't have the hang of how to get in that magical flow and have all the practical skills in place, so that as the flow starts increasing, you can easily and effortlessly keep on top of it, and in fact raise your vibration even further to call in even more. And the whole thing actually builds and builds, and the more you call in, the better you get at taking care of it, managing it, staying on top of it, the better you get at delegating and so on. And then the more money you bring in, and it builds. But there's kind of a point where you've got to get past to get there. And you know, that's what I want to help you do here today. I want to just show you, at least point you in the direction of, you got to do it this way, guys. Because once you do get the hang of this, it really does become quite magical, and you wonder why you ever stressed so much. And in fact, it does get to the point where you go, you know what, earning way more money than I ever did before is so much easier than when I was struggling to earn the smaller amount. And that's the truth of it, because when you're struggling away earning small amounts of money, you're not in alignment, you're trying to do it all the hard way, and you haven't got the right systems in place. So of course, it's hard. All right, so that is what we're about today. So you're in the right place if all of that sounds like what you want. If it's not, then you're in the wrong place, and you know, maybe go get on with your Valentine's Day. But that's what we're doing today. So what we're going to cover today is, number one, we're going to see it. You know, what do you actually want? We're going to talk about why you need to see it first. Then we're going to talk about why you need to feel it. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about you needing to actually do it. Now, the order of those things is really critical. And a lot of people get stuck in doing it backwards, or they just go straight to number 3 and wonder why things are so hard. So that's what we're going to go through. And then after I address these 3 points, I'm going to give you the 3 practical takeaways. So I'll turn the screen share off and we'll all get on video. Hopefully my internet will handle that all right. And, you know, just want to have a little bit of an interactive chat and give you some really hands-on stuff you can take away. And then, of course, don't forget, I'm drawing the winner of the Share Challenge, and you've got to be live on the call to win that. So we'll do that right at the end. So with those 3 practical action tips, you know, the idea is that you start to get the hang of how to seamlessly integrate these 3 things, because it shouldn't take you any extra time, and it shouldn't take any extra effort. And any effort and time you put into it will be an investment that you get back, you know, 1,000-fold. So it becomes a real no-brainer. Okay, I'm going to have a quick drink of water, and then we're getting into it. So we don't need that slide, so let's keep going. Number 1, see it. So what I mean by that is you need to start with the end in mind. Now, the one thing I want you to take away from this section is that your thought connects you to what you desire. Make sure you write that down. Thought connects. Write that down right now. Let me know in the chat box. I wrote it down. Now, why does thought connect, and why is it so important for you to understand this? Okay, we live in a vibrational universe where everything is energy. We know this, and your thought is energy. Now, Albert Einstein said, everything is energy, that's all there is to it. When you match the frequency of the reality you want, you can't help but get that reality. It can be no other way. And this is not philosophy, this is Physics. Yeah, good. You're writing it down. Good on you, girls. And I forgot to say, you know, switch off all other distractions and so on. Like, be present, of course, because this is your time. This is you. This is for you. So we're all familiar with this concept that thoughts become things, right? But sometimes it seems a little bit airy-fairy, like we're not really quite sure exactly what that means and how that works. And the thing to understand is that your thought connects you to the possibility of the event, the thing that you desire. So when you look at Einstein's equation, E equals mc squared, it actually says that everything is energy. You are energy. Everything in your life is energy. Every event has an electromagnetic signature. Everything is just an energy wave, an electromagnetic energy wave. Now, this quote by Henry Ford says it all. You know, you can use your power for good or evil, basically. You can use that power to get more of what you want, or more of what you don't want. Our brains are really, really powerful, and our unconscious minds are infinitely powerful. So through our unconscious mind, we have access to an incredible vast array of information, and we have neural pathways in our brains that fire over and over and over again. The unfortunate thing is that most of us are trained and have bedded down neural pathways that are unhelpful. We're really good at focusing on what we do not want. We think we're focusing on what we want, but what we're actually focusing on is what we're running away from. Too much stress, too much work, not enough time, not enough money. I've got to work hard because I don't have enough. I've got to work longer hours because I don't have enough time. So this is a really important difference to understand, because as you wire those neural pathways in, that groove becomes deeper and deeper, and it fires automatically, because your mind is a very efficient organism, and you're programming not just your mind and your unconscious mind to keep bringing you more of the same with what you give your attention to, because where your attention goes, your energy flows. So not only are you programming everything deeper and deeper, but you're kind of moving further and further away from what it is that you do want. You just keep getting more and more of what you don't want, and you don't even realize it's happening a lot of the time, because 98% of what we do is totally unconscious. Your whole personality is like 98% unconscious, memorized patterns of thought, emotion, words and actions that we do over and over again without really stopping to think about it. And, you know, it's that old don't think about a pink elephant thing. So when I say to you, please don't think about a pink elephant. In fact, just close your eyes now. Okay, good, the pink elephant's gone because we're ignoring it. And now I want you to stop thinking about the pink elephant. Don't think about it anymore. Okay, put that pink elephant right out of your mind. Okay, cool. Make sure, because we don't like the pink elephant. The pink elephant's trouble. Like, it's on crack. I'm sure it is. So let's just stop thinking about the pink elephant. Pink elephant is a bad, bad thing. So let me know in the chat box whether you managed to stop thinking about the pink elephant. And the thing is that the universe doesn't hear don't. Yeah, elephant on crack. The universe doesn't hear the word don't, and neither does your mind, right? So the more you push against what you don't want, the more of it you get. And this is a really huge and important distinction. So a lot of the time when we're sitting down to do our work, we are so busy focusing on what we fear happening and what we worry about that we just flow more energy to it. And so our mind, our unconscious mind, which is a very obedient servant, keeps looking for more ways to show us evidence of that, keeps looking for more ways for us to unconsciously create situations like that. So remember that your thought is pure energy, and you are energy with consciousness. You can flow that thought, you can flow that energy towards whatever you choose. And there is a big difference between focusing on what you don't want anymore versus focusing on what you do want. And often people think they're doing one when they're actually doing the other. And the difference is huge. So, you know, consistently focusing on what you do want can give you amazing results. This is the pool at our house, and it's one of my favorite examples of thoughts becoming things. Because 3 years prior to actually building that pool, which by the way is in our front yard, which people said couldn't be done because it was the only space we had, 3 years prior to us building that pool, I decided I wanted a pool. And those sun lounges you see in the front left corner there, I spent every possible minute lying on those sun lounges, visualizing myself being poolside. And I was so focused on it. And, you know, it took 3 years because at the time we were living in a house that was rented, so we couldn't even have a pool. Well, I'm sure the owners wouldn't have minded us building a pool for them, but we weren't going to do it. But the thing is that consistency of thought and that absolute excluding the current reality is powerful, because if you keep focusing on your current reality, your current bank balance, your current situation, you're just going to create more of the same. So I'm just going to quickly touch on a couple of quantum physics concepts. So there are two particularly really important principles in quantum physics that are really helpful in understanding why and how our thoughts become things. Number one, quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement says that once two electromagnetic events are in some way connected, they are forever in communication, forevermore, which means that once you've actually had a thought, once you've had an idea, that event is forever connected to you. And then from there, your only work is actually to figure out how to bring it into your experience. Now, the other really important concept in quantum physics is the observer effect. And what the observer effect basically says is that what we give our awareness to, what we give our attention to, is where our energy flows, and that affects the outcome of the event, which is why we create our reality with our expectation. The problem is that we expect more of the same. We focus on what's right in front of us, so we keep creating more of the same, and nothing ever shifts. But where your attention goes is where your energy flows, and what you focus on expands. Because remember, you are energy with consciousness. You are pure unlimited potential, and you get to choose. And the key is to understand that this takes practice and persistence, because we're really well trained on focusing on what's right in front of us, on focusing on what's happened in the past, on comparing everything that happens now to what happened in the past and going, well, in the past that happened, so it's going to have to happen. I'm expecting it to be the same again. And the universe just says, if you say so. So it's really important that you actually decide on what it is you do want, because your thought, your awareness, your energy flowing to that idea is what will connect you to it. And you want to connect to what you want, not what you don't want. And that's where we need to begin. So we need to see it. And that means we start with the end in mind. Cool. Let's move on to the second step, which is feeling it. So when I say you need to feel it, you need to actually align yourself energetically, because you are an electromagnetic being. You are electrical thought energy and magnetic heart energy. And your magnetic heart energy is incredibly, incredibly powerful. So the HeartMath Institute do all this amazing research around the power of the heart. There's a cluster of 40,000 neurons in your heart chakra, in your heart space. And it's your little heart brain. And it actually talks to and communicates with your cranial brain, sending more signals up towards the brain in your head than the other way around. That's where that intuition, that premonition comes from. And that's been measured in experiments, you know, where this heart brain lights up way before your cranial brain lights up. And it's a really powerful system. Now, when you get these magnetic heart waves, heart energy waves in coherence, meaning when you get them nice and smooth, nice and clear by reaching elevated states of emotion, that's when they're really, really powerful. So when you're in a state of stress and fear, your heart rhythms are incoherent. They're messy. They've got a lot of noise in the signal. And then it just doesn't cut through. So I'll give you a quick sort of parallel example of why coherence is so powerful. The sun emits, I don't know the number right now, but it emits a huge amount of energy, right? We all know that. A laser beam emits a tiny fraction of a percentage of that amount of energy. But a laser beam will cut off your finger, whereas you can walk around in the sunlight and not lose a digit, right? And the reason that the laser beam is so powerful is because it's a coherent signal. So the waves, the energy waves of the laser have been smoothed out to create that really smooth, coherent, clear signal. And then it cuts through. Then it's incredibly powerful. And you are exactly the same. And the way you reach that coherent state is by getting yourself into those higher vibrational states, into love, appreciation, gratitude, all of those things. That's why they're so powerful. And the thing to remember is that your thought sets the intention. It connects you up. It gives direction to what you want. But the feeling is what attracts it to you. And it's the combination of the two that is powerful. So the HeartMath Institute also did a really famous experiment where they used DNA, and they had three groups of people. One held vials of DNA and just set an intention that they wanted to unwind the double helix of the DNA. So they just went, that's what I want, thank you, and held on to those vials of DNA. Nothing really happened. Another group, they asked them to hold the vials of DNA and reach that really high coherent state. So, reach a state of heart coherence where they were in joy and gratitude and all these higher emotional states. Nothing really happened. And then they got the third group and they said, okay, set the intention and get into that coherent state. And that group had a 24% change in the DNA in the vials they were holding. The double helix actually unwound itself to up to 24%, which is incredibly powerful. So the point is that it's the combination of these two things that affects the quantum field, that field of infinite possibilities that we are a part of, that we are connected to. We just don't have the skills and the practice in knowing how to do it consistently, but we can absolutely get it. And it's doing the two things together that's powerful, because feeling is the language of the universe. Feeling is a vibration, right? And everything you want is on that high vibrational note. So the thing is that you can't BS the universe. You honestly can't. And a lot of people will think that they're feeling positive, but what they're actually doing is just pretending to feel positive, saying positive words, writing positive affirmations, but truly deep down inside, they're not really expecting it. They've got fear, they've got worry, they've got doubt. So this takes practice. There's a process, there's a journey to travel through. You've got to immerse yourself in it long enough and start getting the little bits of feedback that say, yes, this works, you're on the right track. And as time goes on, you get better at it and better at it and better at it. And you keep proving it to yourself until you just know it works. And once you just know it works, it just becomes who you are. You don't have to think about it anymore. So we want to make sure, sorry, I skipped all the slides. I forgot to skip on the slides, sorry. So you want to make sure you align yourself and that you raise your vibration. I got a little bit excited. So feeling attracts, write that one down. Thought connects, feeling attracts. We talked about that you're an electromagnetic being and that those high emotional states, that state of heart coherence is very, very powerful. So how do you get there? Deep breathing, meditation. There's a beautiful heart coherence meditation, which is the HeartMath Institute's little process that you can get. I've got a copy of it that people can download, or you can get the instructions on their website. So there are lots of ways that you can achieve those higher emotional states. I love this picture because it reminds me of how powerful something like a smiling meditation is. Just spend 3 minutes sitting, smiling. That's it. And just enjoy, and your vibration will raise through the roof. It's really, really powerful stuff. Alrighty, so we're going to get into doing it now. So we've actually lined up with what we want. We've started becoming magnetic to it so that it can be attracted to us and we become attracted to it. And now it's time to do it, to actually do the work, here in 3D reality land. because that's where we live. We live in this tangible world where everything does look solid, even though it's actually not. It's just an electromagnetic energy wave of potentiality. But hey, we have decided it's solid and we treat it as such. And this is the fun of it, right? And so we need to take action. So whether it's that we're doing things to bring us more income, or whether it's that we're actually getting through the work that's creating the income, we need to take action. But the difference between doing it this way and doing it the other way is that here you're taking smart and effective action for starters. You know, you're not going to flounce around and waste a lot of time, but also you're going to take inspired and aligned action because you've actually bothered to get yourself in alignment first. You've bothered to line up with what you want, get yourself in the vibrational place where there's actually a magnetic attraction happening, and then you take the action, which actually demonstrates your confidence and your readiness to receive. Because if you don't take the action, guess what the message that you're sending out is? Guess what the underlying unconscious thing behind that is? If you don't sort out your banking to be ready to receive more money, if you don't have systems in place in your business to be ready to receive more clients, that is the truth of where you're actually at. So you might be, you know, doing all the things to make you feel all warm and fluffy, but if you're not actually organizing yourself to receive, then the message is loud and clear. I'm not really expecting it to come. And when it comes, if it does come and I'm not ready, I'm going to freak out and my vibration is going to tumble back down into the basement and the wheels will fall off. And it'll continue to be 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And then you go, oh, this is hard work, you know, and then you stop even worrying about raising your vibration and you just get caught up in working hard, slogging it out, and you forget that, you know, there's a process and you've just forgotten one of the key steps. So actually doing it and preparing to receive is really important because it elevates your confidence. Knowing that you've got some systems in place, that you've got some processes, that you've got some strategies, actually gives you all the confidence to keep doing the vibrational and the alignment work. It gets rid of a lot of the fear, because a lot of people will go, oh, you know, I'm already snowed under. I'd like more money, but I'm not sure I'm ready to do what it's going to take, and I'm not sure I'm ready to handle it. So having the systems in place is really, really critical. So it increases your confidence, it reduces the fear, and it shows very clearly to the universe and to your unconscious that you have all the faith and every expectation that this is going to happen. This is going to happen. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn off this screen share for a second. Hopefully my internet will cope with this okay. And let's just all turn on our cameras and we'll do a couple of practical things. And I just would like to see you for this rather than talking at a screen. So I'm going to stop my screen share and I'm going to, hello everybody. So turn your cameras on, and once again, if I disappear, oh my goodness, look at you all. If I disappear because my internet's conked out, then I shall be back right away. Just stay in the room. I'll just find another internet connection and I'll be back. Oh, look at all those beautiful faces. This is very exciting. Okay, so I'll go through these 3 things reasonably quickly because I promised to keep this to an hour. Hello, everybody wave at each other. Hello. Awesome. It's funny when you're on screen share and then you turn it off, you go, oh my God, there's all these people. It's so cool. Now, the first thing, so these are practical things that I actually do, and I'm giving them to you in a really simple way. And just bear in mind that this is that process we just went through. It's see it, feel it, do it, baby. So number 1 is write a to-do list, not just for yourself, but also for the universe. So make sure you've got pen and paper to write this down. So this is how this works. You want to get your piece of paper, and if you've got your to-do list handy, even better. If you don't have your to-do list handy, don't worry. And what I want you to do is just draw a line down the middle, right? And on one side, write for me to do today. And I want you to write 3, maximum 5 things that you know have to get done today, or the world as we know it is going to end. No more than 5 maximum, ideally just 3. Okay. Cool, cool. So do that. Is that a cup of tea for me, darling? Oh, I have a great... See, it's my Valentine's Day present. Happy Valentine's Day, honey. He's giving me the look of, oh, that's right. So, and on the other side of the paper, at the top, write universe to do. And I just want you to dump a whole lot of other stuff, like, you know, those projects that you're just not getting to, that, I don't know, all those bits and pieces that you just haven't gotten to, that you know need to get done. Oh, look, I got flowers. Thank you, darling. Just dump them all on that other side. Who says he doesn't bring me flowers? So dump as many of those on the other side as you can. And, you know, we're doing this as a quick demo. So, and now the writing it down is really important. It can be really tempting. So as I play with my cup of tea, it can be really tempting to skip past it, right? And go, universe, just take care of everything else, thanks. But the writing it down is the see it part, right? You're writing it down, and that's actually visualizing that these things are going to magically get taken care of. Now, once you've done that, I want you to just take a moment, close your eyes, and just think of one or two maybe of the things on that list, and just imagine that they kind of magically start falling into place, and you haven't really had to do anything. Like, you know, when someone just calls you and goes, hi, I'm calling you about this, and by the way, that, and oh yeah, I'll take care of that. And you go, oh, okay, I thought I was going to have to hustle and chase you. You know, those things just happen. So just, I want you to take yourself, you know, to the end of the day, or even the end of the week, maybe just forward to some nondescript place in the future, and just allow that smile to grow on your face, thinking, wow, I really am supported. I really am loved. And when I set an intention and get in alignment, really cool stuff happens. And I don't really totally understand it, but I'm just loving it anyway. And just allow that smile on your face and just that sense of satisfaction to really grow, and let the smile get even bigger, and let the feeling get bigger as the smile gets bigger. Feeling gratitude, gratitude is giving thanks for what has already happened, because in the field of infinite possibilities, there is no sense of time. Everything is just now, which means that if you can take yourself and your whole body into a state where you're already grateful that it's happened, it means that's done. And because it's already happened, it means you can just let go of it now, because you've already taken yourself forward and experienced how good it feels when it's completely done. And all events are always just happening now, because if you can feel it now, it means it's happening now, which means it's already done. And you just take a deep breath and let it go. And then you get on with the things on your side of the list. Now, let me know in the chat box, this is too many to unmute you all, sorry. Let me know in the chat box how you feel after doing that. Now just looking at your list, knowing that the other stuff you've delegated to this amazing executive assistant. How does it feel? Just one or two words. How does it feel? And you'll find that, yeah, right, free, relief, awesome. Because you've actually energetically let it go. And when you energetically let it go, beautiful. Letitia feels happy. Renee feels relieved, supported. Viviane says, it feels good, smiley face. Caroline says, supported. Alice says, wonderful. Joe, feels awesome to dedicate the hard stuff to the universe. Yep, Caroline says, happy. Leanne, relaxed. Cool. So you've energetically let go of it, which is really, really critical for the universe to be able to step in and take care of those things for you. And the reality is you can't do everything all at the same time anyway. So that's why we go, okay, what are the 3 to 5 maximum things that you really have to do today that you are going to spend your time on? Delegate everything else. And this is, Andrea says, a weight off my shoulders, and Linda says, big thumbs up. Beautiful. So you've got to energetically let go. And then you get on with doing your stuff, and your head's not filled with, oh, all this other stuff, all this. You've delegated that. It's gone. You've already seen it and experienced it as done. So you've created the event in the quantum field. You've set up the attraction to allow it to happen, and you've actually energetically let go. And that's that feeling of relief that you feel. You're no longer meddling in it. You've allowed it to be passed over to the universe, and you get on with your stuff. And absolute magic happens, because as you tick off things on your list during the day, other stuff will just kind of drop in, and you'll start ticking off things on the other side of the list and go, okay, thanks. And the more you do it, the easier it gets and the more magical it gets. So that's tip number 1. All right. Tip number 2 is, when you sit down to do the smaller things, like maybe what's on your list, but even smaller than that. So those things you might have written on there, promote my next whatever, and that'll consist of a whole lot of stuff. Emails you've got to send out, posts you've got to put up, phone calls you've got to make. So you can chop this down into really tiny segments and approach each one. I call this working with intention. So before you make a call, before you pop up a Facebook post, and I'll tell you that story in a minute, so otherwise I'll get distracted. There's a really cool story. So I call this working with intention, and you want to chunk it down to the little things, because the little things are the big things. Life is nothing but a series of teeny tiny little things put together, right? And if you can master them, then you've mastered life. That's it. You don't have to master this big, scary, overwhelming thing. Just master all the little things along the way. That's it. So say you're going to put up a Facebook post. Then what I'd like, promoting your next, webinar or a freebie or whatever you've got going, if that's what you do, take a moment to decide what the outcome is you'd like from that. So say, wouldn't it be cool if from this post, 20 people or 50 people signed up for my offer? If it's a freebie, adjust the numbers to whatever is comfortable. Make it exciting. Don't make it totally blowing yourself out of the water, but make it exciting. Make it a little bit of a stretch into the excitement zone, which is before the terror zone, right? So go into the excitement zone. So decide on that outcome, and cool. Then sit down and again, just close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, get your feet firmly on the floor, breathe, and visualize that outcome, right? Visualize all those faces, visualize yourself, noticing those numbers, and feel the excitement and feel the satisfaction of that. And what you'll notice as you take a few deep breaths and really get into that excitement and that satisfaction of it is you kind of elevate your consciousness, right? You get into a bit of a higher state, and I call it the genius state, where you're kind of a little bit like you're in the zone, reality kind of melts away and you're zoo. And when you're in that state and you're like really blissed out on the gratitude and the excitement, that's when you put up your post. That's when you send out that email. That's when you make that phone call, because you've already decided what you'd like out of it and you've already connected with the end result. So we've did it with the big list of things, and now you're just going to chunk it down to every single little action. And it takes stuff all time, right? Takes stuff all time to do this, and the result is massive. So we did the Law of Attraction bootcamp, like a 5-day free challenge I ran a little while ago, and it was Sam, I think, who did this with a Facebook post into a group she always posts in, and she goes, look, I always get roughly this many likes, this many comments. She knew exactly what she normally gets, and she had almost 300% bigger response just from doing this on one post. So can you see how much power is in this when you actually let the energy do the heavy lifting for you? Because what you're doing is you're instructing the universe, you're instructing the quantum field, you are setting up the event, you're connecting to it, and then you do your bit, but you've already set yourself up so the universe can do all the heavy lifting. You've flowed the energy out ahead of you. Okay, number 3, so I'm going to have to keep it moving. Number 3 is really, really important, and that is to make sure that as you're working during the day, you don't turn into that cat meme. The cat at the keyboard that's going. And sometimes if Martin sees me like getting into that zone, because, you know, I teach what I most need to learn. Like I'm practicing this stuff every single day, and the better I get at it, the more I can go, hey guys, I've tweaked it even better and I can share it. So don't allow yourself to get into that state. And the key to doing that is to take vibration boosting breaks, right? Just 5-minute breaks. Like, what's 5 minutes? Nothing. 5 minutes is you getting caught up on the wrong Facebook post and following the wrong thread, right? Oh yeah, I am very real, Caroline, believe me. Thank you. So I talk about happy habits. You know, what are the little pick-me-ups you can easily do during your day that cost you no money, that you already do, but you just need to do more mindfully, more consciously? Because it's all about being conscious, right? What I teach is basically how to go on your own journey of consciously evolving, you know, because this is about you evolving to the highest, best, most abundant, joyful version of yourself. It's a conscious evolution. So you want to start just becoming conscious of these things and noticing where your energy is at. So taking frequent breaks where you actually decide that this is not just a break where, you know, I'm going to be stuck on Facebook again, or go run around the house washing dishes, or whatever you need to do. This is a break where I'm going to raise my vibration, and doing that frequently is really powerful, because as you sit down to work, you know, things will get your attention, and it's easy to get pulled back into that worrying, fearful, focusing on the pink elephant stuff, right? But we don't want the pink elephant, because he's on crack and he's going to be bad news. And if he gets in the house, God help us all. So let's stay away from the pink elephant, and let's have vibration boosting breaks and focus on where we do want our energy to be. So it's about keep topping up your vibration. Now, I love working to a Pomodoro method, and, you know, it's one of my practical, like, I have a whole host of really cool effectiveness tools that I teach. But the thing is that I hate teaching. I won't teach them to people. I used to coach business people in effectiveness, but they just burnt themselves out more. So now it's like, nah, I'm not letting you near that stuff till you've learned how to line up the energy first, because that's where your power lies. And then the effectiveness tools are like this amazing, magical icing on the cake. So Pomodoro is really powerful. Pomodoro is where you set a timer. You can download apps. You can download desktop apps. I use one called Focus Booster, because I like the tick, 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 ticking sound. It reminds me that, oh yeah, that's right, I'm meant to be focusing. And you basically work in a 25-minute sprint. So you go, right, this is 25 minutes where I'm going to check my Facebook notifications, or I'm going to do all my posting for the day, or I'm going to get that email drafted and sent out. Like, you have a really clear objective, and you do the previous thing that we said, and then you work for 25 minutes just on that thing, and the tick, tick, tick reminds you not to get pulled off track. Then when that timer buzzes, you get up off your ass and out of your chair, whether you finished it or not, right? That's really critical, because if you stay there and go, oh no, I'll just finish this, you turn into the cat hammering on the keyboard. You go, it's all right, I'll do it in a minute. And like 2 hours later, you're still there and your brain's fried. So you have to get up, and you have to do a vibration raising exercise, whether that's standing outside in the sun with a cup of tea, doing some deep breathing, whether that's doing a 5-minute mindfulness exercise, whatever it is, it'll make a huge difference. And that is actually where the power of the Pomodoro method lies. It's, yes, you work fast and you get stuff done, but then you take a break and it resets you. So the Pomodoro technique done properly is actually the perfect example of marrying the magical with the practical, because the 25-minute sprint is the practical and the 5-minute break is the magical. It's what allows you to raise your vibration again, so you can get back in alignment, back in the flow. So it's really, really important. So there you go. That's 3 things. Now I'm going to go back to the screen share. I use a cute owl egg timer, Marcy says, and an app called Freedom to block certain websites. Yeah, stuff like that is really, really cool and really, really powerful. Okay, how are we going for time? Ooh, I'm going to have to talk faster still. All right, so we've done those 3 things. We've gone through 3. Let me just stop the video and make sure. All right, cool. That should be right for the recording again. So we've gone through those 3 steps. You understand them, and I've shown you 3 practical things you can go away and do today. I want you to do them today. I want you to practice them right away, because if you don't practice this stuff, if you just leave your notes and shove them in a corner of your desk and then they get buried under other things, you're going to forget. You're going to forget, and you're not going to do it, and you're not going to get into a habit. So all the stuff I teach is super powerful, but if you don't do it, it's useless, right? It's not going to help you. And the way to, because this is a process and a journey where you're unwiring and unhooking all those old habit patterns, which are both your habits of thought, of feeling, and of doing. Like it's on 3 levels, right? It's cognitive in the brain, it's feeling in the body, and it's doing with your hands and whatever else you use to do what you do. So it's on every level. It's physical, mental, and emotional. And you've got habit patterns. You've got habit patterns and you've got neural pathways that are wired in pretty damn deep. And if you don't start wiring up new ones, they're just going to keep taking over. So the buzzword, the key word here is immersion. You've got to immerse yourself in this stuff for long enough to have the new patterns take over, to build new neural pathways that take over from the old, so that you can start programming the universe and stop thinking about the bloody pink elephant and start, focusing on the blue one that you want, and start bringing that into your experience. So let's go to the summary of all of that. So we want to see it because we need to start with the end in mind, with the end of what we do want. So it's about setting the intention and seeing it done. Oh, I don't know whose iPhone that is. Hi there, everyone. Glad I'm able to be here live. Who are you, iPhone? Because you just came up as iPhone. Let us know your name. Excuse me, I'm sipping tea. Hopefully that's not a really loud slurping noise. Oh, Maggie, hi. Maggie from the York Peninsula. All right, number 2, you've got to feel it, because you need to be the magnet that draws it to you. You're an electromagnetic being. And when you get in alignment, when you become coherent, that's when you actually change and program the quantum field. That's when pure magic happens. And that's when things happen that you do not expect. Because let me tell you, what you expect is all based on your old patterns, your old way of being, your old personality. But your personality determines your personal reality. So when you shift who you are in terms of shifting how you see and feel about the world around you, you actually create a new reality. And that's when things happen that kind of surprise you, because it doesn't fit the old pattern. And that is a sign that you are actually tapping into the quantum field. That's when you know that I am creating my reality. I am the conscious creator of my reality, and I love it. And then third of all, you've got to do it. You've got to follow through using the smartest effectiveness strategies possible, and showing and demonstrating that you are ready to receive. Does that make sense? Cool, cool, cool. Beautiful. So I don't know why you showed up today, to be honest. But we talked about not enough money, not enough time, right? And the thing is that most people feel really stuck in that. You've lost sound? Oh, am I gone? Am I back? I'm back. Good, good, good. Cool. Yay. Happy to hear that. All right. So I don't know exactly why you came on this call today, but you decided to take out an hour, and that it was important to you, right? You decided to take an hour out of your day and that this was important. And, most people think, okay, I don't have enough money and I don't have enough time, and I certainly don't have enough time to try and make more money so that I can get some help to give me more time. And so they just feel stuck. They feel like they're stuck in this place that they can't get out of, and they're starting to feel overwhelmed and like, why isn't it happening? And the thing is that hopefully you realize by now that the critical thing is to start making these shifts, right? That you need to leverage the law of attraction. And that it's not hard, and that it doesn't take much time, because yes, you've got to do stuff, but you need to invoke that leverage of the universe, because that's how you start creating a new reality. That's how you start changing things. And this is how you get everything that you want the easy way. This is what makes everything work better. in truly magical ways. But it all starts with you. It starts with your vibration and your awareness, and you being committed to mastering those subtle things, because they are subtle things. You know, when I say to you, hey, you need to actually use a Pomodoro and get up when that timer buzzes, that sounds really easy, but the next time that you're in the middle of something, when that timer buzzes, you'll notice the pull to go, oh, but I'll just finish this and then I'll get up. And the moment that you give into that, you've given back into the old pattern. So it is really about being really aware, noticing your energy dipping. And look, don't even wait for the Pomodoro timer to go. Just, you feel your energy dipping, get up, reset. You will get so much more benefit out of it than if you just keep slogging away. But it is about consistency, because you need to shift. It all starts with you. Like everything you do, everything that happens to you, everything that happens in your life, you are the common denominator. Your energy and what you bring to it is the one common denominator. And that's the thing that is completely within your control. And that is the thing that will actually shift everything on the outside of you, because you are the observer of your world. You are consciousness. You are energy with consciousness, and you can choose where to flow that energy to. Like, you've got incredible power. And the thing is that we've just got the old, exactly, Sharon, we've got that old pattern. It's like a worn track, and you've got to become aware enough that you go, I'm stopping. I'm going to pull the plug on this for a moment. I'm going to reset. And that's all about awareness, but it's super easy to leverage the universe, because you will get massively different results, and it doesn't take extra time. It takes minimal effort, but the difference is huge. It's about inspired action and leverage, so that you can have more money, more time with a whole lot less stress, and do it the easy way. Now, when I mentioned, you know, Sam doing the post with boot camp, like, that's huge. That's just one post. You get 300% different uptake. Imagine if she could just, you know, have sort of an average increase of that just on the response to her posts, not even anything else. Because the flow-on effect from more people responding to your posts, as more people see what you do, more people are then aware of what you do, and more people will be attracted to you. And when you do promos, more people see it. So if you can just make that smaller difference on one thing consistently, the flow-on effect is massive. But the trick is to plug into that system and to know that it works. Just do your bit and, you know, be consistent with it. But hopefully you can see that it is actually simple. It is not hard, and it doesn't take much extra time to do this. Can you type in the chat box if you can see that it's simple? Just want to, hopefully I've shown you by now that it's simple. Like, there's nothing complicated you've got to do. We spent a few minutes doing, what did we do? We did 3 different techniques in about, I don't know, 8-9 minutes. And that's all you've got to do. Super, super simple, right? No, it's not rocket science. And can I tell you the secret? That is why people don't do it, because it seems too simple. And they get sucked back into, my problems are big, so the solution must be big and hard. And so they skip over it. They might try it for a little while, but not consistently enough to actually start changing those old patterns. Not consistently enough to actually start laying down a new groove. And they don't persevere with it long enough to really get the big shift and results, and they get distracted. They get pulled off on another track, and they go, oh, well, let me try something else. You know, let me pay $5,000 for a program that's going to teach me how to be better with my marketing. And that's great. You need to be good with your marketing. You need to have marketing strategies. You need all those things, but you're coming to that program. Your energy comes into the program. Your energy comes towards everything that you do. So it doesn't matter how much money you invest in other things, but you know, if your energy is not right, then nothing's going to work. It can be the best program in the world, can be the best strategy in the world. But if your energy is not right, it's not going to work. And then you just keep flitting around from one thing to the next. And year after year after year, it's the same old, same old. So, you know, the reason, I'll tell you why so why do people not do this? Like, it takes consistency, right? And that's all it takes. It's simple stuff done consistently. So why don't people do it? If you want to have a guess at why you don't do it, type in the chat box, let me know. I'll tell you what I see. So the real problem is the lack of consistency. It's not that this is hard or it takes a lot of time or that it's difficult. Not at all. That is not the issue. The issue is the lack of consistency. And there are three main reasons that I see that everything else falls under. But please type in the chat box and tell me, you know, why you won't do it. And number one, people have this, you know, I had a chat to Tash Corbin and we talked about fear of success and got ranty. And it's not really fear of success that people have. You know, a lot of coaches will say, oh, the number one problem is fear of success. It's fear of not coping. It's fear of being swamped because they don't have the systems to actually manage the extra time and the extra money and the extra clients and the extra things that they want in their lives. So there's this underlying fear of, oh my God, if there's more coming, what the hell, you know, how am I going to cope? Like I had a busy week in business, it nearly killed me. And I asked this question on another call recently, you know, has that ever happened to you where you had like a big week or a big month and you went, oh my God, that nearly killed me? So if that's how you feel about the biggest week or month ever where you earned the kind of money you want to earn, if you feel negatively about it, can you see how there's going to be a fear of that reoccurring and that happening again and wiping you out, you know, and you might end up sick for a week, or you've abandoned your family and the house has gone to crap, you know. So this is a real fear, and that informs your energy that you bring to everything. So if you go, yeah, I really want it, oh, but silently and secretly, I'm afraid. What if it comes? You know, how will I handle it? That's huge, and people don't address that. So what we actually need to do there is to have the confidence that we can handle it by knowing we have the systems in place. And that is why I do teach effectiveness strategies, and I do teach money management strategies. I show people how to manage their money wisely with confidence so it sticks around and grows. Because when you feel confident that you can manage more clients, more stuff, more money, and you feel good about that, then you're no longer blocking the flow. So that fear of not coping and, you know, blocking it unconsciously, that's huge. And the second thing is limiting beliefs, you know, upper limits. This whole thing around, oh, do I really deserve it? You know, is it cheating if I leverage the universe? All this stuff comes in, like all these limiting beliefs, and a lot of them are around deservingness, worthiness. And so to get through those, you actually have to have some tools in place to help you work through them. And the third one is a really huge one, and it's distractions. And distractions and old habits. So we've got, you know, other people in our lives and we've got stuff in our lives, and it distracts us and it gets our attention. You know, something goes a little bit wrong, suddenly we're looking at the pink elephant again. Somebody says something negative, suddenly we're looking at the pink elephant again. So that's really, really important. So when you can ignore the distractions, then that's when you become bulletproof. When you can just single-mindedly stay focused on what you do want, that's when it all just slides off you and it doesn't get your attention, and you don't end up being sucked back into the pink elephant on crack in your lounge room, right? Sorry, I don't know how we ended up with that, but we did. That is our analogy for the day. So the thing is, you actually need a system and a framework for yourself that you can stick to, where you can stay consistent with it, immerse yourself deeply enough to really create the changes, like really create the changes, not dabble with it, not play with it, not stop start, but really create a shift. You have to have your systems in place so that you have the confidence and get rid of the fear of, oh, what if it comes? Like, we need to get rid of that. So you have to have the systems in place so that you have the confidence rather than the fear. And in terms of dealing with unconscious blocks and limiting beliefs and upper limits, you need some tools in place for that. And, you know, in a moment, I'm going to draw the winner of the share challenge, but these three reasons are why I created the Effectology method.